Gallup poll this fall found that Americans' approval rating of the U.S. Congress is at a nearly all-time low, 13%. And we wondered, it can't be that bad.
I think people are very frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, we would all like our congressman to go and get something accomplished.
I see them in a positive light.
You do?
Yeah, they're doing a service for the people. We're the ones that voted them into place. So if we don't like them, we're the ones that can fix it.
I think that there's just a lack of leadership right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lack of being able to look beyond party lines.
They try to do a good job, I think, you know.
The things that they do get done are often more aligned with like corporate interests.
It's great to know that somebody has a lower rating than a lawyer's.
They're not getting what we need to get done. I mean, there's always enough money for wars.
Unfortunately, we're a society where a disaster has to happen, a crisis, before they change anything.
I think it's time for both sides to work together and understand that real change comes through compromise.
All right, so what was the number that Ted just said, 13%?
Yes.
Here is 100% approval for this morning's OTR political analyst. Democrat Marianne Marsh is with us, and Republican Eric Fernstrom is with us. Thanks, great to see you guys. 100% approval, I promise that.
So after this week's debate, is it a safe bet that establishment GOP money is now going to go directly to Marco Rubio?
Well, I think
at least through the holiday season.
I think it's already happening, and that accounts for a lot of the tension now between the Rubio and Bush campaigns. Marco Rubio is a very appealing candidate. He's young, he's dynamic, he's Hispanic American. If he becomes the nominee, I think we have the potential to make major inroads with Hispanic voters. Plus, I love the fact that on the Republican side, 3 of the top 4 candidates are minorities. It seems that that's another indication of just how strong and diverse that Republican field is.
Is he right? Is the money, establishment money, going to go towards Rubio from now and at least through the holidays?
Noted that Eric didn't say when in that sentence, but okay. What Rubio hasn't been able to do is capitalize upon these debate performances. What you have to do is put a cycle together. Great performance, great earned media, great polling numbers that go up, and money. Yeah, he got a few new donations after this last one, but he's largely been put on defense. The Oppo research dump on Marco Rubio, his credit cards, and everything else has him on defense. If he can put that cycle together that perpetuates itself, yes, he could.
Above Marco Rubio are Donald Trump and Ben Carson. Is there anything, Marianne, that can stop them from winning Iowa and New Hampshire at this point?
Not right now, no. I mean, Trump has the strongest support of anybody in the polls. His supporters are with him, period, end of sentence. Carson's a little softer. 30% of his supporters say we could go with someone else. But in Iowa, Carson's the guy to beat right now.
Erica, you know, Iowa and New Hampshire, really, are we there with those 2?
Well, they're running 1 and 2 in all the polls, national polls, all the state polling, and we've had 4 Republican debates now, and the fundamental trajectory of the race hasn't changed. And I think the problem here might be that we don't have an establishment candidate who can methodically disqualify those 2 while making a strong case for his own candidacy. This was something that Romney was able to do very effectively in 2012, and the establishment candidates as a whole this year, so far, haven't been able to pull it off.
Let's switch over to the Democrats. Hillary Clinton is now clearly focused on solidifying her base, and the numbers seem to show that it's working, at least for her. She's no longer afraid to talk about Barack Obama. She's no longer to talk about her husband, Bill Clinton, their successes. And she is no longer fearful of being accused of being their 3rd terms. Is this obviously aimed at eliminating Bernie Sanders, Marianne?
Well, she's doing the smart thing, which is, to your point, solidifying her base and also trying to expand it. But remember, her 2 big challenges are Iowa and New Hampshire. She wins those 2, like Trump could. She runs the table. The big difference right now you're starting to see is Bernie seems to have hit a ceiling. She's growing. He's hit a ceiling. The debate last night, I'm sure, will show us some differences in how the polls are going to go from there. But that's the one thing to watch. Just like Trump, she has very solid support. And Sanders' support is much more soft.
Is this the right strategy for Hillary?
No, it's not. I don't think she wants to be viewed as Obama's 3rd term. Look, Obama, for most of his presidency, has been below 50% approval. Right now, 2/3 of Americans think the country is headed in the wrong direction. So we're in a wrong track environment. That is going to favor the anti-status quo candidate, and come next November, that will be whoever the Republican nominee is.
Well, and yet Romney couldn't beat him.
Well, I'm not sure what Romney has to do with it, but we're talking about operating in a wrong track environment. That's bad for the Democrat nominee. It's bad for Democrats generally.
A different year this year.
So are you saying that she should be shifting more to the center at this point?
I think she wants to be viewed as her own person, not as Obama's third term. If that's what she wants to run on, then I think Republicans are going to be making hay.
I think you're dreaming. I mean, the fact is, you guys are going to have a much longer primary process than we are, and the reality is, Barack Obama's approval ratings are only going up. So people support him more now than they have ever. So when you look at this environment...
They're going up. He's net negative. He's 45% approval. Over 50% of Americans disapprove of the job he's doing.
You know that, and I know that.
That's bad news. If she wants to run as Obama's third term, be my guest.
Yeah. I'm having fun here. I want to shift the conversation from political win to a different kind of win. Eric, a new wind farm proposal is now on the table, but it has long a way to go before construction actually starts. 15 miles up from Martha's Vineyard. Does the project have any better traction than the Cape Wind project did?
Well, we'll see. I mean, wind power has properly sited, has enormous potential. Cape Wind went through a very long and arduous approval process having to do with its location, but what ultimately killed it was the cost. And ratepayers in Massachusetts were being asked to take on a huge financial expense, and when the utilities in this state had an opportunity to walk away from Cape Wind, they did. So if this new proposal can address questions related to cost and siting, then sure, I think it has a better chance of success.
The environment's better, no pun intended, and the people who are behind this project are used to getting through the bureaucracy, getting the red tape done, and they've done a lot of projects like this. An advantage right now.
We continue on the record. Stay with us.